Hello, my name's Ian Puddick and I run Leakbusters Leak Detection, and we've decided to make a short video because we offer a whole series of different types of leak detection survey for different types of leak or different types of problem. And we just wanted to illustrate, so the customer, when we do provide you a quote, what are we actually going to do? What are you getting for your money? So this we're going to show is an example of a mini survey. So to illustrate the point, the customers contacted us, they've laid a towel down, their floor's all soaking wet, and they've got water coming through this stained area here. It's intermittent. I keep painting over it, the stains are coming through, the water's coming through. So how would we tackle a leak like this? Now, the leak could be on the ceiling, it could be on the wall here somewhere, it could be on the floor. What would we do in these circumstances? Follow me and I'm going to show you. So with a mini survey, you've got your damp patch on the floor, the wall or the ceiling. What are we going to start with? Well, we need to look for probable causes. So we're here in the kitchen, so this is a great place. So we're looking for sources where water could leak out. So we've got a kitchen sink. On the kitchen sink, you've got the cold water pipe, you have the hot water pipe. Underneath there, you have a hidden mini dishwasher. Over here, there is a slimline washing machine. So all of these could leak, or could leak even intermittently. So you've got the waste pipe also from the kitchen sink. So we would dye test the waste pipe. We would check the integrity of the cold water pipe to the dishwasher, the waste outlet from the dishwasher, and exactly the same thing as well with the washing machine. So you've got the cold water pipe going to supply it. We'll test the integrity of that. The waste pipe or the outlet of the washing machine. And also here in the kitchen, they've got a combi boiler. It's a pressurized boiler. So our leak detection engineers are gas safe registered. So they'll be able to test the boiler itself and see if the boiler is losing pressure. Our engineers also very cheekily have been known to test the kettle. We're now in the bathroom. So when the engineers carry out the mini survey, what will they be doing in here? Well, again, just like the kitchen, we're looking for probable causes of leakage, lots of water. So where would we be? Well, we start with the shower. The engineers would pressure test the shower or showers because you have multiple showers. Also, we would test the hot water and the cold water. We would look at and we would test the waste outlet on the bath. On the basin, we've got lots of potential sources of leakage. We've got a cold water tap, we've got a hot water tap, we have the basin waste, the outlet, we have a trap that's hidden behind there. So we would check the seal, which in this case would obviously be fine. We would pressure test the hot and the cold. And when we say pressure test, what does that actually mean? Well, we do something called a static pressure test and we do a dynamic pressure test. And in both tests, we need to make sure that when it's pressure tested, the pressure holds. If the pressure drops or reduces when the tap's not open, we know that there is a problem with the integrity of the pipe that's supplying this. So in this case, we've tested both of the hot and the cold water, and they are fine. We've tested the waste and it's fine. But what would happen if we tested the cold water and during the dynamic pressure test and the static pressure test, the pressure dropped? Well, what we would do at the end of the survey is we would recommend an additional survey to test the cold water. Now, you could say, well, we've just tested it. Yeah, we have. We've identified that on this pipe somewhere there is a problem or problems. There could be more than one leak. Now, the kind of survey to test the integrity of the pipe is very, very different. It takes longer. Now, why haven't we done this in this instance? Well, in this instance, it's fine. So you would have been paying as a customer to have an expensive survey done on a pipe that didn't need testing. So do you really want to pay for something that you don't need? Well, if we test the pipe and we find that there is a problem, then pay for that test because you need it, not because it would be something nice to do or a recommendation. Do it because you have to. Hang on to your money. That would be our advice. So here we have a damp patch on the ceiling. Just over here, about a metre away from the first damp patch, is another damp area. You can actually see the stain on the ceiling. If you look really closely, you can see that the actual ceiling is bubbling. There's some plaster that's starting to bubble. It's actually quite wet, just a touch with your hands. We get lots of customer calls where there are damp patches or various damp patches on the ceiling. Now, it may seem that I'm stating the obvious here, so please do forgive me. But when we come and do the survey, it's absolutely vital that we have access to the space above the affected area. Now, that could be another flat, it could be another property. If so, we must have access to that property at the time of survey. We do have customers saying you actually thought that with our specialist technology that we could actually see through ceilings and walls. Well, it's not, there is no X-ray vision here, there is no X-rays, and we certainly don't have a crystal ball. We do need to actually physically be in the space above to carry out the kind of tests that we've illustrated so far. What are we actually doing though when we look for moisture in walls or in ceilings? Well, what we're actually doing is we are looking for or we call it a moisture mapping survey. So if there was a damp patch on the wall here, we want to find out how it got damp. Now, to illustrate it, we use thermal imaging, and also additionally or separately, we use moisture mapping technology. Now, just to illustrate how sensitive the equipment is, literally, if I place my hand on the wall for a second, I'll literally just do that 1, 2, you can see the imprint of my hand. Now, we're measuring the temperature differentials in the wall. So if you were to stand there and measure the temperature or the surface area of this wall, it would be fairly even. But where there was a leak or a damp source or some moisture ingress, the temperature of that affected area will be different to the rest of the wall. And that's what we're looking for. We're checking to see how that affected area became wet.